Today, Michael, I want to talk about our signature premier product, which is the fix and flip product. I know a lot of people that have been using this repeatedly to buy properties, and one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is that we actually offer this to first-time flippers. So maybe talk a little bit about first-time flippers, what they allow, and what some of our guidelines are regarding that.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so we love first-time flippers. We love to help them get their first property, get going, build up some working capital with the profits they make, and do more flips. So our first-time flipper, we're gonna have them start at 80% LTV. So we're gonna require some skin in the game, right? So 20% down they're gonna need, plus some closing costs, and then they're gonna need some working capital to get the project going. And we'll be able to put them on a 100% rehab finance program, so we can finance 100% of the rehab. And it's going to be on a draw reimbursement program. And so we can help them hit their goals, start building up their business, and then do more flips with us.
Yeah, well, you can't be a multiple flippers without doing the first one.
That's
so
right. Yeah.
We always enjoy working with the first timers because helping see them succeed is something that we take a lot of pride in. So one of the things that a lot of flippers always ask, and you hit on this briefly, was the down payment requirements. So when we talk about a first time flipper, we're always going to generally want 20% down payment plus closing costs. So that means we'll finance 80% of the purchase plus 100% of the rehab. So one of the other things that a lot of people ask about, and we get a lot of feedback with, is questions about that draw process. And we don't reimburse prior to actually doing the repairs or renovations. So we always talk about the cabinets as a good example, and we only reimburse once the cabinets are actually installed, not to give them cash at the front to go actually do put the cabinets in. But one of the benefits there is that we don't actually require any receipts from the contractors, etc. So they're able to actually do the repairs themselves. And so we try to micromanage that process. So what are you seeing out there as far as first-time flippers? Let's talk about that first, as far as success stories. And can you maybe talk about one property that has been successful as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a client that just started her first flip in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She had saved up the down payment, the 20%, plus the closing costs, and then she had about $5,000 to start on the project. So she put in new flooring and she put in some new cabinets, and then we went out and inspected the property, got the report back and reimbursed her all in about 5 days. And so now she's able to move on to the next phase where she's going to be working on the bathroom. So she's taking that $5,000 and she's going to work on the bathroom phase. And so she's moving right along and she's on target to finish her project.
Yeah. Well, one of the nice things about our property, our ability on this loan is that the fact that you don't have to have a timeline to get a first draw inspection. You can take draws at any time. And so you may have half of the paint done. You can certainly get reimbursed for that half of the paint. And you don't have to wait till you completed the whole house or painted the whole house or done all the necessary remodeling. That you can get that at any time. So let's talk a little bit now about the experienced investor. We offer as little as 10% down on that. Talk a little bit what you're seeing out there on the market with experienced investors.
Yeah, so obviously we love the experienced investors. We love that track record of success. We love to see the profit that they're bringing in for themselves, and we love to see them grow their business and scale up, right? So with our experienced investors, we're gonna have them put 10% down, and then we're going to look at the property, and we can finance up to 100% of the rehab also with experienced investors. With the experienced investors, we just ask them to show us some form of proof that they actually flipped houses, or it could be a mix of flipped houses and rental properties. But we're just going to want to see some documentation. If they have that, great, we can move forward with the 10% down payment.
Yeah, and some of those items that we're going to need, generally we need an appraisal. We will sometimes take a BPO. Always going to need title work, home insurance, the LLC. We're going to need some LLC documents, articles of incorporation, operating agreements, and a bank statement. But one thing we don't require is tax returns. So that's kind of a nice thing. That, generally somebody can gather most of these documents in a matter of 30, 40 minutes, sometimes even faster if we have them on file. So talk a little bit about closing times. I know we've kind of really accelerated that in recent weeks. Talk about where we're at on closing times for this as well.
Yeah, so right now we're 5 to 7 days on the closing time. The longest part of that process is the appraisal. and the title work, but we get to work on that quickly. So as soon as a borrower calls us up and they're ready to pull the trigger, we pull the trigger and we start the process with appraisal, getting the title work done, and then just gathering the small amount of docs that we require.
Yeah, and then generally we're just a few minutes over the phone. We can usually pre-qualify and pre-approve them, send a proof of funds letter within usually the hour, it seems like. Is that what we're seeing out there in the market? Can you talk a little bit about from that step, what the next steps would be if they want to apply?
Yeah, absolutely. So they call me. Just in a few minutes, I can talk to them and get an idea of where they're at as a borrower, where they're at as far as what kind of assets they have, and do they have the down payment. Next, I'll qualify the property. So take a look at the property while I'm on the phone with them. They're telling me a little bit about what they're looking to do with it and the kind of rehab work they want to do. The next step then, I just send them a link and they can upload securely on our site all the documents that are required, which isn't much at all. Essentially, it's an ID. We want to see a statement of the assets. We want to see the insurance, and then we want just the contact information and the title so we can get that work going. They have an entity. We love entities. We do LLCs, we do incorporations, so no problem there. We just get a few docs about those, and then we're moving along. We get ready to close.
Great. Well, so for more information, they should either give us a call or visit our website, parkplacefinance.com.
That's right.
Yeah. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.